This is the Editor's Half Hour. Step into the life of an editor for 30 minutes as we discuss the craft of editing, industry trends, and editorial resources. Your host is co-founder and CEO of Peak Publishing Inc., Nadia Jaja Pupa. She is experienced in all facets of the publishing industry, from editing to design, and works with corporate clients and self-published authors. Nadia and her guests are about to share powerful insights and stories on what it takes to be an editor. And this is your host, Nadia Jaja Pupa.
Welcome, listeners, to the Editor's Half Hour. We are here at ACES in Salt Lake City, and you're not going to believe who I have. Heather Saunders, the president of ACES. Welcome, Heather, to the Editor's Half Hour. I'm so happy that you agreed to do this interview.
Thank you. I am delighted to be here. This podcast is amazing. It is such a great resource. It's so popular because it's doing so many good things. So I'm honored.
Thank you. This is just so much fun. Heather is a natural. I have to say, she goes up to the microphone in front of hundreds of attendees. This is such a big deal. And she is just the coolest person. She's totally chill. And that's why I was like, I think I would like to have her on the podcast. She's got a great vibe. So you are the president. What is it like being the president of ACES?
A beautiful responsibility. I came to my first conference in Vegas of 2014, and I've told the story many times because it means a lot to me. It was Vegas. It was loud. Vegas? Yes.
Okay.
And I walked through these two double doors, and on the other side was silence, like a library. And there was all of these editors just very quietly connecting, looking at things, sharing things. And I sat in a session with Peter Sokolowski from Merriam-Webster.
Oh, cool.
And I knew that I had found my place and my people. So I immediately jumped in to volunteer, figured I could do whatever I could. And I reached out to editor Mark Allen. He was putting together a freelancer directory. And I was like, I am here. I'm in. What can I do? My plane is leaving in 20 minutes, but give me the details.
Awesome.
And then I have just been continued from there.
I love that. And how many years, when was it in Las Vegas?
2014.
2014. Okay.
Yes.
And so Mark Allen, he is famous for that word chat.
He is. Yes.
And Mark is actually watching us right now. So we're at my booth at ACES. I've been an exhibitor. You can see my affirmation cards on display. I've been selling those. Our beautiful tote bag with the proofreading marks. And so I obviously know of you because of ACES, but tell me your story with Mark. Were you in a session together? How did he come up to you and say, "Hey, I'm Mark"?
Or, no, I found him.
You found him.
Like, this is just this phenomenal voice, great leader, and also he seems really cool to talk to.
He is.
And he has a
cool.
job for me to do in a way I can contribute in a meaningful way. And I'm like, yeah, I'm absolutely in. And so now we do that word chat together.
Awesome.
And I do the behind the scenes on that. And he runs a fabulous show, bringing in such exciting people.
And I love his ties. We love your ties,
his
Mark.
ties are amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about ACES. What are your plans as president? Do you have goals? What do you foresee that ACES can do in the future?
Yeah. So right now we're actually really focused on building a firm foundation for the organizational structure. When I came on the board, and for a very long time, it was built on the generous time of volunteers.
Right.
Like, it was a gift, and we tried to treat it with respect. And now it was time to grow into something that was led by staff and that let people be more strategic. So the very tactical goals are just getting processes in place so the organization is set up to be a well-running machine for the future. But there's a lot of big picture goals. I mean, there's a lot in the community. Like, how can we support representation, journalism, editing, just research, advocate for what we do?
Yeah. And that's been a big topic of discussion that I've been a part of, whether it's been in a session, out of a session. The conversations don't stop at ACES, especially at these conferences. I mean, you'll attend a session and they're jam-packed. After the session, the Q&As are wild, right? Then after that, the conversations continue in the hallways, and sometimes other people will just jump in. Yeah. But what you're addressing is exactly right. I mean, this is what everybody's talking about. Yeah. And I'm just so honored to be in your presence because I can tell that you're organized, you've got your act together, and you're focused. And I love that.
Thank you.
So the topic that I also wanted to talk today about is STEM. I've been wanting to cover STEM on this podcast. who better than Heather Saunders to talk about this? So I know that you like space.
A little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit. And
Sweatshirt.
yes, it is very much my brand. I got
Love it.
my start in aerospace editing.
Okay.
Fun personal fact, my dad is actually an electrical and aeronautical engineer.
Okay.
So
okay.
he's worked on pieces that have ended up in orbit in the International Space Station. He has a flag that is flown on a shuttle. And so this
Amazing.
was what I was marinating in growing up.
Okay.
Just that endless curiosity, that engineer's mind
Yes.
about asking questions. And so when it came time for me to go into what I wanted to do, I'm not an engineer. Not
I was
even
gonna ask. I was
close.
gonna ask if you had like an engineering background at all.
Not even a little.
Wow.
But the passion and the curiosity, and been just truly dipped in the language and the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it came time to realize my strength is in editing, in language, in words, in finding a message and communicating it,
Mm-hmm.
and I found out that was the space in which I wanted to do it.
Okay. So if you're watching the video, check it out because I want you to see Heather's really cool sweater. It's a sparkly like Saturn planet with
Yes,
stars.
we've got rings.
I love it.
and sparkle.
And you know, my husband is obsessed with everything with NASA. And so have you worked, so you've talked about your dad, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Have you done like subcontracting work
Yeah,
or
we
government
we
work
did
with NASA?
work on the NASA OSIRIS-REx project.
Oh my God.
Which was an absolute delight, looking at moon composition, soil composition,
Oh my gosh.
experiments on how to better understand all of that is being brought back from these scientific missions.
So what were you looking at?
Reports and other research on how we can best understand this data now that it's here with us. So what can we
So
learn on the
cool.
Earth that will help inform
Yes.
what we're discovering off of our Earth?
Oh my God. That is so cool. Like, what was it like when you
It
got,
was a
were you
dream.
like, this is amazing?
It was a dream.
Yeah.
I mean, really, truly, to be working in this, it's waking up to the perfect day every day. Even when
Yeah.
it's hard, it's exciting. I get a
Yeah.
chance to be curious. I get a chance to learn something. I get a chance to edit and work in documents that have a large impact, like impacting scientific research in this very small way is
Right.
really personally meaningful.
Oh, I bet it is. So are you working directly as a prime contractor or a subcontractor with NASA?
Yeah, we subcontracted.
Subcontract,
And
okay.
we've worked on other like aerospace companies. We've
Okay.
been in a fun position to talk about new exciting pieces in drones. I actually am a very strong proponent of inclusive language.
Mm-hmm.
So I've worked with enough people that when they start to come to me saying they have an unmanned aerial system,
Okay.
they see me and they stop and they're like, it's actually uncrewed.
Okay.
It is
uncrewed.
an uncrewed aerial system. And so
See,
if anyone
good
starts
for
coming
you.
to me with a page,
Good for you.
they know it's not going to say manned or it's not going to
Oh,
get
good
past
for
me.
you. Good for you. That's a big deal.
It is.
It's a little thing, but it's a big deal.
Well, and
it's
in
not a
spaces
little thing
where women
anymore.
aren't really highly represented,
Right.
that language is a little bit harder to catch and call out.
Right,
And
right.
very often, being the only woman in the room, I'm the only person calling it out.
Yeah. And that's probably I can absolutely picture that scenario. So this is a big deal. I didn't even realize, like, I'm thinking about NASA. I am also interested. I actually did a joint counseling program where I actually presented my capabilities. I did a capabilities presentation, like a 10-minute capabilities thing. And I pitched it to, it was like large engineering firms. I got some bites. It was interesting. It was exciting. Nothing came to fruition, but it was very nerve-wracking for me. I'm like talking to these giant corporations. So have you had to do that where you pitch your skills, or was it more of meeting with the contractors?
Oh, well, it's a little bit of both in what I do every day
Oh,
at
okay.
Nova Arc. So there is
Okay.
a lot of, as CEO in that
Yes,
hat, I
yes.
do sell what we do to many people who share the same title, or they're
Great.
chief marketing officers, chief communication officers. But then we get into the work, and it's also with a lot of like researchers and technical experts and subject matter experts.
How are you not intimidated? Like, I would be so intimidated. How do you
Well-
handle these scenarios and situations where you're talking to rocket scientists?
Oh,
like,
yes,
literally,
yeah.
she's talking to rocket scientists. How do you play it cool?
I mean, we start with respect, right?
Right.
Like, I'm respecting their expertise, what they do, and then in turn, I show up with the fact they're going to expect my expertise.
Right.
And be patient, assume
Okay.
best intentions, and I very commonly and oftenly remind we're working to the same goal, right?
Yeah.
Like, we want whatever we're putting together to be widely read and correctly understood. So I'm a partner in that. You are going to be able to get this piece correct. I'm going to be able to help make that more accurate and more effective.
like that.
So we're a team and we're doing it together.
I love that, because when you phrase it that way, you literally build the confidence, right? So like that intimidation goes away because you're not there to impress them.
And
You're
we're
there
not correcting,
you're
we're
not correcting.
refining.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing this together.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so impressed. That's so cool. So my mind is going off in a million different directions. But what is your background? What did you study?
Yeah.
Like, how did you even get into this?
I have an interesting background. I have 2 master's degrees and 2 bachelor's degrees.
Okay, that's
I
amazing.
just had a good time in school.
Were you a straight A student?
No,
You were not.
No, I absolutely was not.
Really? Okay.
I got a few B's. It happened.
You B's. To me, getting a B was like getting an A. I was not an A student. Okay. Are you the oldest in your family?
I am the oldest daughter.
I knew it. Oldest are always A plus students. My older sister was always A plus. To me, getting a B was like getting an A. I was like, I don't really care. Okay, but let's
Great.
Okay, so you have let me digest this. 2 master's degrees,
I
2
do.
bachelor's degrees. Let's start with the bachelor's.
So I have a bachelor's degree in psychology.
Okay.
And I have a bachelor's degree in journalism with a news editorial focus.
Awesome.
I got them because I was cheap. If you take more than 12 credit hours a semester,
Okay.
they're the same price.
Okay.
So I just stacked them till I got to when they
Smart.
said you can't keep
She's
going.
smart.
And so I was like, okay, it's 2 degrees.
Okay, 2
I
degrees.
just wanted to keep learning.
Good for you.
And then I have a master's degree in professional writing, and I have a master's degree in forensic psychology.
Oh my gosh. Did you take time in between the bachelor's
Yeah.
and master's? So did
Yeah.
you work during that time?
I did, and that's
Okay.
actually when I started working as a technical editor. So I've been
Okay.
doing that for 12 years, actually, in March.
Wow. Okay. And getting into technical editing, let's segue into that.
Yeah.
Did you just? I'm a technical editor. Did you take any specific courses in technical editing?
So I applied to a job listing for a technical editor for an aerospace focused company. They put
Okay.
out a bunch of aerospace journals, and I said, look, I just graduated from school in journalism. I've done this. Here's my qualifications, but also here's what I know about the field.
Okay.
Right. So when you're talking about
love that.
thermodynamics and lift and thrust, I know this language even though I'm not an expert.
Okay.
And so they gave me a chance, and I got started, and I was with them for a number of years and
So cool.
learned through experience
Okay.
and then kept going.
Kept going. And
Yeah.
you just kept going. So that's interesting, and I want listeners to pay attention to this because you felt comfortable in this environment, in that space, and you didn't let it deter you. And you didn't make any claims that
Oh, no.
you 100% understood it, but you could navigate through it because you enjoy it.
I enjoyed it, and
Yeah.
I knew enough to know when I didn't know enough.
Okay.
Right? I'm like, I understand the language of what you're telling me, but I know I'm not an expert, and that's really valuable to you because you need this message to reach the right people in the right way. So I'm going to be the eyes to give you that information.
I see. I feel like what you're sharing is so encouraging for women who are interested in this space,
Oh.
and the women are like maybe allow the intimidation to
Yeah.
stop them, but you didn't let that stop you. That is truly that is very impressive, and
you.
that is why I have her on the podcast. So let's talk more. Let's pull it back to ACES.
Yeah.
We are at the last day of the conference. How do you feel like ACES has gone so far?
I think it's been exceptional. I always love the ACES in-person conference. It leaves me renewed. And actually, our keynote speaker last night said he just felt energized, empowered, that there was an energy from being here with everyone. And I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
that's what I feel every year.
Yeah.
That is a big part of the reason I spend so much time in the organization is because it gives back so much. And for me, one of the goals is if ACES can be a place where anyone who works in language and editing can feel welcome,
Yeah.
supported, advocated for, ready to continue on their journey, that's a win.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard and from the experiences that have been shared, it seems like that has been the case again this year, which
Yeah.
is just,
Should be proud.
I'm delighted. Like overjoyed is not an over exaggeration.
It's not an
Like really,
over-exaggeration.
truly.
And what advice do you have for somebody new and maybe like apprehensive to come to a conference?
Oh.
What advice do you have for them to just dive in and have fun? Like, what can they do?
Everyone here either is feeling the same or has felt the same. And as soon as you sidle up to somebody, they're going to say hello and be delighted to meet you. I have never found that to not be true. It's a welcome community. Everyone is opening and encouraging. And it's nice to just see how important editing is. There was 530 people here.
I know.
When you
I
sit in a chair
know.
alone, you feel alone.
Yeah.
And then when you walk these hallways, you feel how not alone you are. Like your desk in your office isn't the whole reflection of the world. And there's a space where
So
you
good.
can belong and be heard.
I love it. It's so good. And if you haven't noticed already, listeners, there's noise in the background. We've got people walking up and listening to our recording, which is so much fun.
Yes.
I know.
The Aces energy is electric. Like, I'm sorry, I would love for you to be here and be getting the stickers and the buttons and the
Everything.
temporary tattoos.
Oh, I saw some
There's
of
a
those.
lot. Like
I
the
saw some of
swag,
those.
the spirits, like it's a beautiful space to be. It's a very good
It
energy.
really is. I don't know if we have any questions from the audience. Do you have any questions, anybody? Anybody walking around? I think we're doing great. I love this. I love everything you're doing. I think you shared some very valuable advice for whether you're a newbie, an editor struggling with like maybe getting intimidated by sophisticated information. Well, any last closing thoughts and words? I know I put a lot on you to take
this
time
has
away
been
from.
a delight.
I mean, I didn't just ask anybody. I asked the president to be here. So, I mean,
And I'm thrilled to be here. I guess I would say, thinking about technical, complex editing, STEM editing, how important it is still just to be a storyteller.
okay.
Right? Like, that's so much of the core of what it
So-
is. Why I wasn't intimidated coming to the page when there were experts literally writing about thrust and liftoff and how this plane is going to stay in the air and the mathematics behind it.
Yeah.
And it's something that we can do, right?
I love that.
We learn to do this, and it's a thing that you can develop. It's a skill you can develop. I mean, we get to precision and clarity by making
Yeah.
the content accessible.
I love that. And I love that you actually brought it down to storytelling because you're dealing with complex information and bringing it down to an understandable level to
Yeah.
a general audience.
Yeah.
So, love it.
Well,
Love
and
it.
it's fun. Like, and that's a fun writing challenge
is.
to think about.
It is.
You know, like someone wants to talk about a nano quadcopter, right?
right.
Like, no, it's not a very commonly familiar thing. But if you're like, oh, it's about the size of like 2 DVD cases stacked on top of each other.
See, that's
You
cool.
can put
You just
technical
brought it down.
information,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, so what about like a heavy lift drone? Oh, that's like a standard bathtub.
See,
And someone's just they're there with you. You can share it in a way where people are invited in and they're informed
see,
at the
that's
same
so
time.
cool. Very cool. So you heard it, everybody. Listeners, thank you for listening in. This was an excellent interview with Heather Saunders. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time because I know that you are probably the busiest person here. I mean, let's be honest. She's been up at the microphone. She's representing everything here. And I can't thank you enough. So
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome, listeners, to the Editor's Half Hour. I have an exclusive interview with my celebrity guest, Jamal Pittman.
Hey.
Congratulations. He is the latest recipient of the Robinson Prize, which is a huge deal. It is like winning the Oscars for editors. I am so just happy for you, and I'm so excited that you won this prize. How do you feel?
I feel amazing, and thank you so much for the congratulations. It was a beautiful surprise. I'm so honored that my community has recognized me in this way, and I'm so glad that you were there to help celebrate with me. We just did our initial interview
I
a
know.
month ago,
So much fun.
and look at us now. Here we are.
I know. We had way too much fun in our interview. If you haven't listened to my interview with Jamal, check it out. Go back to what was it? I don't even know the episode number, but it's the Editor's Lifestyle Guide. Jamal wrote an amazing book. It's his experiences, learning how to be a copy editor, his challenges. It's part memoir, part self-help.
Mhm.
Excellent book. So I can't speak highly enough about it. So check
Thank
out
you.
the book, Google it, you'll find it.
Thank you. And you were
So-
one of the earliest supporters of my book, and I just want to thank you for picking it up and getting value from it and exposing other editors to it. So your advocacy of me has been so appreciated. Thank you.
So sweet. I really just admire everything that you do. So tell us what you do. I want listeners to hear, where do you work? Who do you work with? I know you're a manager, you're leading a team of people.
Mhm.
Everybody looks up to you. So tell us what you do because I'm impressed. When I first met you, I feel like we hit it off. We
We
like
did.
became besties.
We're like besties at this point.
So yeah, tell us about what you do.
I'm a copy editor manager at Capital Group. It's a financial services company in downtown LA. I manage 17 editors, and I've been there for about 6.5 years. 5 as a full-time employee, and I just love the people in the company and all that comes along with that.
I think they're probably going to celebrate for you when you go back home and
I hope so.
oh, I know so, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
you manage a team of, you said, what was it?
17
17.
copy
Wow.
editors.
Wow.
I know.
What is that like? I mean, I want our listeners to hear, what is that like managing a team of 17? I manage a team, right, at Peak
Mhm.
Publishing, but not all at the same time because we will get projects in and it'll go to whoever it goes to. But that's a lot. So I admire you for this. Tell me
Yeah,
about
it's
that.
a lot of people, and
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you, it's a lot of work.
Mhm.
But I will say that my team is full of amazing people, who are highly talented, highly professional, and they make the job that I do that much easier. So I'm grateful. It's 17 people, but it's 17 of the most amazing people you could ever work with. So I am fortunate and I'm very blessed
That's
to have
awesome.
them.
How do you get amazing people? You find them? Have you been hiring your team?
Oh yeah, I hire my team.
So you know
I
how to
know, yeah, I
okay,
know how to vet.
you know how to
Yeah.
vet. So let's talk about that. What is a good green flag, not red flag? Let's talk about positive stuff. What is when you're interviewing somebody
Mhm.
and you're meeting them for the first time, face to face or on Zoom? What are qualities that you look for in a good employee?
That's a great question. I think the first thing I look for is authenticity. Being
Yes.
real. It's
Yes.
okay to be nervous. I mean, it's
Yeah,
real,
right.
right?
Were you probably nervous going up to give your
Oh,
speech? Like
absolutely. I
that
was
was
nervous giving
amazing.
my speech. I'm nervous
Yeah.
like doing interviews, being on the other side of it.
Right.
I think being authentic and being your true self, of course you have to have the talent, right? But
Right.
I think being honest and being authentic, that really resonates with me.
Oh, that's so
People who are
good.
just real and grounded
Yeah.
speak to me. And then if you have the skill on top of that, it's like, oh, you're a winner.
Oh, you're a
So
winner.
mhm,
Good. That's
yeah.
awesome. So, what are your plans? What are your plans for the future? Also, what do you think about our industry? What do you think the industry is going? What are your predictions for the future?
Mm. My first plan is to celebrate this big win that I had last night and just
Right?
take it all in.
Let's
Like,
focus on that before
it's
we get
like so overwhelmingly positive, and
yeah.
I'm so grateful. But beyond that, I'm just going to continue my advocacy of my scholarship that's been going on since
Yes, let's talk
2021.
about that.
Continue to support my team of editors, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first wrote my book, I was like, I'm never writing another book again. But I keep hearing people
Sure.
say, hey, when's your next book? When's your next book?
Okay.
And the
Okay.
more I've heard it, the more I've been like, you know what? I might have another book in me.
Okay.
So we will see.
We'll
We will
see.
see. There may be another Jamal Pittman editor book that
I
comes
hope
out at
so.
some point.
Part two.
And outside of editing, I'm also a screenwriter. So
Okay.
one of my goals is to get a film made. And
Okay.
so it's been kind of an elusive thing. It's like the one thing that I can't quite hit yet.
Yes, yes, because you're busy.
Because I'm busy and there's, challenges like breaking into the industry and all that other stuff. So I think, getting a movie made is on my list to do as well. As far as where I see the industry going,
Yeah.
in the future, I think copy editors will always have a place. Everybody's afraid of AI
I
and like
know. It's a lot of
the
yeah.
economy is in a weird place right now, but I think there'll always be space for the work that we do because it's so highly specialized. And I think good writers want good editors. I think companies who want to promote their brands in the best possible way
Mhm.
want a good set of eyes on that content. So I think there will always be a place for us. I mentioned this in my book. I still feel that way. There'll always be a place for editors. So
That's
I think
great.
we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I love your outlook. That is so important to hear. I'm so glad you said this for our listeners to hear because that is how we should look at the future. Not go at it with on the defensive,
Yeah,
but more positive.
more positive.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm no stranger to challenge. I'm no stranger to adversity. Like I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
You
For
said the teacher.
me, I feel
Yeah,
the same way about my industry. There are challenges, but I think we're
yeah.
going to overcome it. You have to be creative and you have to think outside the box.
Mhm.
Copy editing is not going away, it's just going to evolve. What
Yes.
it looks like is going to change, and you
Gonna
have to you
change.
have to change with it.
And your business, it sounds like you love your team. You love the business, and they value editors. Is that right?
They do. They value editors more than any company I've ever worked for.
It's amazing.
And it's just been great. They've allowed me to grow and expand as an editor myself. And I want to pass that down to my team as well. And so my company has allowed me the space to give my team space.
That's so
That
good.
makes
That does
sense.
make sense. Final question. I'd like you to talk about the scholarship again and explain, what it is, how you did it, the story behind it.
So in 2021, I started a scholarship program in honor of my great aunts who raised me, Annie and Sally Ann Wheeler. It had been a lifelong goal of mine, but working with my company, Capital Group,
Hmm.
another great thing that they do is they have the most impressive charitable giving program on the planet. And so with them, I was able to get, their matching donation and get set up in 2021. And it goes to a graduating senior at my high school that I graduated from every single year. The first year we gave out $1,000. Well, the person won, $3,000. The second year, $3,000. Third year, $4,000. And this year, we're awarding $6,000.
$6,000. Wow.
And so the scholarship is designed to continue in perpetuity.
Okay.
And it's going to continue to grow as time goes on. So I wanted to, by starting the scholarship, give back to my community, but also honor those two incredible women. So many people in our lives live a life of sacrifice. And I want to, they live in the shadows and they don't get the recognition they deserve. And I want
Right.
to do something that honored people who don't always get their due, who always give back, always sacrifice, always pay it forward. I wanted to finally do that for my own family and for those two women. So I did.
Beautiful. You are building a beautiful legacy, not just for your family, but for the community, editorial community, and your community. It's amazing. I'm so impressed. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud to have an award-winning guest on my podcast. You've elevated the future guests that I'll have on the
Aw,
podcast.
thank you so
So
much.
thank you so much for this exclusive interview.
And I always thank you. And I always say, you are elevating editors all over the world with your podcast.
Thank
The
you.
Editors Half Hour has been amazing. I'm so proud of the work you're doing. And I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited to see how your podcast continues to grow. So thank you
Thank
for what
you.
you're doing. today.
Thank you. Well, you heard it, guests, or I should say listeners. This is my special guest. You heard it straight from the award-winning editor here. We are, I may have said at the beginning that we are here at ACES. We don't know. We don't know if Jamal's going to make an appearance next year, but you're going to have to follow him on social
Gonna have to
media.
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. How do you want our listeners to find you? LinkedIn
You can
or
find me on LinkedIn,
Okay.
Facebook, IG. I'm still on X, Blue Sky.
Okay.
You can typically find me at Jamal D. Pittman. Those are the places you can normally find me.
Okay,
So yeah.
excellent. All right. Thank you again, Jamal. And
Thank you.
listeners, find Jamal and connect with him. Buy his book.
Thank you for listening to the Editor's Half Hour. This podcast is your go-to resource for editorial trends, opening the discussion for new ideas through the real-life stories of editors. For more information about Nadia Jaja Pupa and her business, visit peakpublishing.com. That's PIQUE publishing.com. And remember to subscribe and follow the Editor's Half Hour wherever you get your podcasts.